Hey guys, Carter here with Patriot Training Center. Today I'm out here on the range and I'm gonna pattern this Mossberg 590s with short shells. So I've got some Federal Premium X2 double-aught buckshot. It's a 6 pellet and I wanna see how it patterns in this new 590s. So cool thing about these is they shoot 1.75 mini shells as well. So you could run your normal 3-inch, 2 3/4 inch shells, and it also runs shorties. When you run the shorties, the advantages are you get more capacity in your magazine tube. These buckshot, it holds one in the actual chamber and then 9 in the magazine tube, which is pretty cool comparatively to 6 of the normal 2 3/4. So I want to see how it patterns. Patterning your shotgun is really important if you're going to be using it for home defense or just as a defensive tool in general. You need to know how tight this thing patterns at the different distances. Especially with a new load like these mini shells, I want to see how this shotgun patterns that ammo. So we're going to be using the 6 pellet double-aught buck to pattern, and I'm going to start at 5 yards. What we want to see is everything inside the vital zones, and then we're going to step it back and see where it's max capability of keeping everything in the vital zones that we want. Once you pass that distance of where you can effectively get all 6 pellets of one shotgun round in that vital zone, that's when you're going to want to think about doing a slug changeover if you have that. Then that means that you would get the buckshot out of the gun and switch over to a single projectile slug. We have a video on how to do that right down below. All right, so let's start at 5 yards, and I'm going to load this thing up and we'll see how it patterns. Okay, so now I'm at 5 yards. I'm going to shoot one at 5 yards and we'll see. Usually I like to do, if I'm actually doing this for home defense and setting up the shotgun, I like to go 3 rounds at each distance just so I can make sure that everything is kind of holding a pattern, because 1 round doesn't necessarily rule out that you're going to have a flyer. So I like to go 3, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to do 1 just so you can see them at the different distances. All right, 5 yards. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so at 5 yards, this stuff is the wad, so don't worry about that. This is where the actual shot landed. So there's all 6 rounds. That's a pretty good group right there. So we're gonna move it on back and see what it does at 7 yards. 7 yards. Okay, so that was at 7 yards. It didn't open up that much, maybe an inch or 2. Well within the range, so we'll back it up to 10 and see how it does at 10. All right, 10 yards. Okay, so for me, the bead is a little bit off. I'm aiming, like I'm putting my bead kind of at the bottom and it's still a little bit high. That is one of the advantages of having rifle sights on your tactical shotgun or a red dot. You can understand where your point of aim, point of impact is. But those are all well within the 8-inch circle. So this one actually came out, but if these were actually impacting in the middle, I still think it would hold that. But it's something to note and something that you need to practice, making sure you understand if you're going to use a bead where you're actually impacting with the rounds you're using for home defense. So I still think that that's well within. If everything, this shot was kind of up here, so if you brought that down, it's still within that range. So we're going to back it on up and see what it does at 12 yards. Okay, I'm back at 12 yards now. I put up a new target just so you guys can see it easier. It was starting to get cloudy at the different distances, so I backed it up and put a new target up. We'll see how it does. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so as you can see, like my bead was down here and I'm impacting up here. So that's definitely something that I would want to note and understand where my point of aim, point of impact shift is. As far as the group, that's what we're gonna look at here. Everything's still pretty decently tight. I've got 1 flyer over here, but if you move that down, once you got that dialed in with the point of aim, point of impact, I still do think it's gonna be within that 8-inch circle. It's gonna be close, but you're starting to find the limit of this round and how tight it can group. Okay, so I backed up to 15 yards. I'm gonna aim at just like the bottom of the target, and we'll see if we can get them in that 8-inch circle. That way I'll kind of go to the left and the bottom of it, see where it impacts, but 15 yards, and we'll see how tight that group is. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's outside the range. 15 yards is definitely out of what I'd be comfortable shooting in a defensive situation with how this is patterning. So I would do a slug change over at 15 for sure. So this is just a test. I'm not using this for home defense. We're testing these minis to see how they perform in the shotgun. You could try different ammos. This was one of the more readily available federal double-aught buck ammos out there that I could find. So this video is in no way telling you that you should go buy one of these mini shell guns and use it for home defense. This is strictly just testing, and I was going to bring you guys along for the ride to see what this thing is capable of doing. So patterning your shotguns is really important. In comparison, we have a video where Jeff tests a bunch of other buckshots. He tests the Federal Flight Control, Hornady, and it's just off-the-shelf regular buckshot. That video is down below if you want to go see that one. If you guys want to get better at manipulating your shotgun, shooting your shotgun, and understanding how to pattern your shotgun, come out and see us at one of our classes, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.